All right, so we are okay. So,
So let me deafen my Discord real quick.
okay, sure.
All right, there we go.
Okay, we are recording now. So, would you be able to tell us your name and a little about yourself?
You want my all right? My name
Uh,
is
yeah, you don't have to
my
say your
name's
full name.
Kyle. My name's Kyle. I go by Bear. I am from Maryland. I live in Baltimore. I have. Hey, you live in
There you
Maryland?
go. Now, I'm actually from Pittsburgh.
Oh, really? I was just up at Pittsburgh for the. I actually saw the riots up there.
Oh, really? Oh gosh. Wait, did you go for the protest or?
No, actually, I was invited to my friend's birthday party. She was turning 18, and she invited me up there. I actually met her offline, and she invited me up there, and it was really nice. I drove like 4 hours just to meet this, like 2 4 hours just to meet this woman and just hang out with her and her friends.
Wow, dude, that's great. Isn't that amazing? Like you could just make great friends online now.
I mean, I just like a couple calls before you, I just met someone else in Maryland, and they live over near Ocean City. So,
Oh, okay. Yeah. So what do you like? What are some things that you like doing? I guess football or traveling.
um, I mean, I don't have money for traveling, but I like to play games. I fish. I draw, or I used to draw. I like to read books. I like to do a bunch of different stuff.
Cool. Or have you read any?
I was actually a licensed plumber for a little bit.
Oh,
So
cool.
I'm going back to college.
How'd you like plumbing? How'd you get into that?
Um, I did it in high school, and that's really what sparked the thing for me wanting to do it. And then I did it, and I'm like I'm like no, no,
Why?
not because of shit. Just like
Literally.
it's a rude trade. It's a bunch of hateful people down there. There's a lot of old white people that are very racist that are on there.
Really?
hmm
Could you talk a
But
little more about that? Like, what do you mean by that? Yeah.
I was actually really good friends with this guy named Maurice. He's a 59-year-old African American man that lives in Baltimore with me. He was born and raised in Baltimore. He has 9 children. He's a very nice guy. He basically took me under his wing. I was basically his child. I still am his child. I still have his number. I'll call him once in a while and tell him see how he's doing and all that. Um, but basically, like, if he ever like did anything that someone didn't want them to do, everybody else that I worked with is white. So I don't want to say it, but they'd call him the N word and stuff behind his back.
Really?
Yeah, I don't know what to tell him. I'm like, these people are being very rude to you. My boss, actually, my super, not my superintendent, my foreman, would talk behind his back and shit. So
Why do
they,
people do that? Like, what is that? Is it like a superiority thing?
I have black family, so it kind of hit me close to home. So I was like, that's kind of fucked up. Like I have like 9 cousins that are black and are all blood related. So I mean, I love them like their family. I mean, they are family. To
They
be
are
honest,
family. Yeah, of course. Yeah,
don't
that's
mind me. I'm just gonna
that's.
pour some more tea real quick.
Please, yeah, no, that oolong tea. I used to earlier on this year. I was into tea, but I don't know. I just kind of jumped off it. Now I just drink water, really, water and Gatorade whenever I exercise.
Hey, look, the next thing I have next to me is water.
Exactly.
There's only 2 things I drink. There's 3 things I drink: tea, coffee, and water.
When do you drink coffee? Like
Maybe early morning when I'm just in the mood for it.
that's like trying to get up kind of stuff.
It's also just sometimes very tasty, so I like to drink that instead.
Mhm.
Sorry if this is very loud.
That's fine.
All right.
Doesn't
So what other subjects do you want me to speak about?
oh God. Well,
It's a lot. Like the coronavirus, I think that's a scheme by the U.S. government to hide something.
interesting. Could you talk a little more about that?
Well, first off, what I believe is after the elections happen, if the Democratic Party or even Republican Party, whoever wants to, whoever proceeds, I think that it's going to just disappear out of nowhere. And I mean, we're also getting cures and stuff, so it might happen before then.
I know they were talking about like a vaccine kind of being ready by 2021. It sounded like
They're already working on serums and they're already testing it on monkeys. So and there's also another one. There's another company that's already tested on humans.
Do you what is it? What do you think it is that like? What kind of evidence do you think helps support your case for it being kind of like it kind of being a plot that the
Well,
politicians and yeah.
Well, it's not just politicians, but if you notice that your Wi-Fi has been slowing down, everything's been slowing down, everything's been going downhill. I don't think everybody's saying it's just China. They're just eating weird things and that's happened, but like China's known about this for like a year now, and they know it was bad. They just didn't speak about it. So it also one of my other stipulation is that it might have been chemical warfare testing that went rogue because the U.S. is a really fucked up place, just like everywhere else is. But I believe they might have dropped it in somewhere in Wuhan or somewhere close by, and they didn't expect it to come to the U.S. So
Interesting. Yeah, I mean,
I don't have any factual evidence for it.
yeah, yeah. I don't know. I think like our. I mean, I won't rule out I won't rule out the idea that it was like a chemical kind of attack or that it was like a some kind of thing used to try to disable the rest of the world, right? Because I mean, it seems like China kind of had a pretty good handle on it, and kind of locked it down in a decent amount of time. But I think regardless if it was or it wasn't, like I think the handling of it in the United States has been really bad. Like I'm from Florida.
And in some cases, yes, I think it was a terrible way, but I think the stimulus helped it out a lot. And I believe since Trump shut down the borders, I think that helped saved a lot of people because there's doctors that even said if we didn't shut down the borders when we did, we would have like 2 million deaths by now.
Yeah, I think he shut it down too late. I think like
That's what I'm thinking.
Yeah, I think he shut it down too late.
I think right when he heard there's a fucking mass pandemic going, he should just stop it.
Exactly. But you know what? Like the I think what they were prioritizing was like, oh, we need to continue to make money, we need to continue to keep things open and trade and blah blah blah. And now, now we're in the long run we're going to be losing money because we kept the borders open longer.
Oh yeah.
So
Definitely.
yeah, what are your thoughts on like do you keep up with like the election and politics and stuff and all the candidates?
The election, I'm not keeping up with the politics. I'm not keeping up with, but if you want to ask me about how the Black Lives Matter movement, the Antifa, how all that's going on, I mean,
yeah, please talk about it if you.
What do you want me to speak about first?
Well, I guess what are your thoughts of the idea of like Black Lives Matter versus All Lives Matter, or are either of those kind of causes that you would support?
Um,
And why?
I would say neither because if you pick one, you're either racist in one way, shape, or form. That's what everybody thinks. Because if you support All Lives Matter, which is all lives, not just people are taking all lives as white people, but I believe all lives is all lives, which includes black people. So saying that just one, because basically Black Lives Matter, I understand the movement, I understand it's for better rights and all that, and well, they have the same rights, but for like police brutality and stuff like that, I understand that black people are viewed differently. It's just something that this country is built on people looking differently than others. But also, there's another stipulation why cops or police officers look at African Americans differently, because the excessive crime rate that they're subjected to. You know what I mean? Not that I'm saying all the statistics are correct, but I'm just saying that there is a larger number of black people that are incarcerated, and I believe that is due to the maybe gang or criminal. Because what was the statistics a long time ago? I think they were like 20, 30 something percent of the U.S. population, and they're like 60% of the crime.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot there, right? Because it's like, what are people arrested for these days, and where are cops most prevalent? You know, if you go to like a high school that's pretty much all white, you'll rarely find cops there probably arresting people for minimal marijuana
I
carrying.
think
You know,
marijuana. I think marijuana should just be legalized by now because it
yeah,
doesn't hurt you any way, shape, or form, in my opinion.
yeah. It's like marijuana should be treated just like alcohol. You know, and alcohol like
Alcohol is much worse. It's the worst drug you can figure out because there's a huge. My uncle for my uncle actually, I live with my uncle right now, and he is a prime case of alcoholism
hmm,
because he's a plumber. He works for the government. He makes very good money. It's probably about 125,000 a year.
that's great.
And yeah, and he has amazing benefits. He gets plenty of vacation time and everything. But he drinks about a bottle of vodka each time he drinks. And that's Tito's. You know what Tito's is. You from
Yeah.
Maryland. Tito's is like the handmade one. And he drinks about a bottle of that every time.
Mm.
He'll mix it with like Coke or whatever. Or he'll just do it straight. And I've just known he's been gaining weight, gaining weight, gaining weight. And he used to do the same thing when he was younger, but he also had cigarettes in his body. But now he's stopped. He stopped. He struggled for so many years to stop like smoking cigarettes, and he's like he can't go a day without a pack, like a cigarette. It's getting pretty bad again. But that's only because both him and his girlfriend are both alcoholics.
How do you think that can be? You know, I think that that's an issue. You know, all over the world, and um, like it's something that people really want to kind of curb. You know, like how do you think that people? How do you think we kind of move towards a culture where alcoholism and kind of addictive behaviors aren't as common? It's a big question.
Maybe better psychological treatments because I have BPD, which is borderline personality disorder, and it's a pretty bad disorder. I actually I got locked up for 2 weeks at a mental health institute because I was on the verge of suicide. But I mean, I got treatment. They told me how to cope with a lot of things, and I mean, I don't take any medicine now. I mean, I'm just who I am now.
Do would you feel comfortable kind of telling us your story about like being diagnosed as borderline personality and being locked up and going to
Well,
the facility?
first they diagnosed me with bipolar disorder, and that was a misdiagnosis. Um, Basically, I was self harming very greatly then, and like I was burning myself, cutting myself, doing a lot of things, and I was doing a lot of drugs back then, like Percocet, Xanax. I was drinking, smoking weed. Well, weed didn't really bother me at all, or drinking. Drinking wasn't bad. I never got addicted to anything. I mean, I vape now, but I'm not addicted to it whatsoever. I could throw it out the window if I wanted to. I just like the head rush. Um, so basically, I told my parents I was going to kill myself for my 18th birthday, or I was planning to, and they took me right to Shepherd Pratt, and they locked me up there for 2 weeks. And the only
Could
reason they released me is because they couldn't pay for the insurance anymore.
could I ask you, like, do you think that your parents handled that the right way? Do you
Oh,
think,
most definitely, yes.
yeah? Is that what you were looking for? Is for help, and that's why you went to them, or?
No, actually, they were questioning me because I was really bad at school and I would skip class and all that because I had pretty bad anxiety when I was in high school. And I wouldn't go to class. I would just go smoke weed because calms you down, makes you feel much better. And they were asking why I was getting bad grades, and I was like, I really didn't expect to come this far in life because I was planning on killing myself by now. And I told them I was going to kill myself on my 18th birthday. And so they took me right to the mental health institute.
Hmm. Were your parents like pretty? Are your parents pretty active in your life? You think? Like, what is your
My,
relationship like with them?
my mother, I live with her. I love her to death. She's a wonderful parent. She's helped me with so much stuff. My father, about all he does now, he used to be a good father before they divorced, but about all he does now is pays for my health insurance. It's about all he has in my life right now. I mean, we hang out once in a while. We'll go out for dinner or whatever. But like actually the funniest thing was when I went there, um, they took me to the mental health institute, but I was also mentally abused by my stepmother.
Really? When did they divorce? Could I ask you?
My mother and my father divorced when I was about 8 years old, so that was a big hit. I mean, I still always think about that once in a while. So, I mean,
So
I'm over it now, but
you
it was
think
a
that
big
you
hit.
you think that was like kind of like a root issue that kind of caused you to kind of
Snap almost.
or yeah, like kind of
Um,
develop anxiety and stuff. Trust
Maybe a
issues
little
maybe?
bit, but when I hit 14, well, when I hit 14, I was diagnosed with depression and anxiety, which is in middle school. But before then, I was uh, um, bullied a lot. Because bullying is a huge fucking issue in schooling, and it still is, and I think it will always be unless we do something about it, which we're not doing whatsoever.
You know what? So many people on this channel talk about bullying, and could you talk a little more about that? Like, how do you think that bullying could be better addressed in our society,
Um,
in schools?
well, bullying in like middle school and high school and all that, or even elementary school, you basically get a slap on the back. So maybe if there's better counseling, that might help. Maybe better resources for bullying, like maybe a better like I said, school counselor that would actually do something about it, not just be like, you're just a kid, have fun. It's like, oh, you're just going through high school, you're just whatever. Because mental illnesses are not I mean, not diagnosed. Sorry, they're not addressed correctly in the U.S. or anywhere really, and they also have a big this what's the word I'm trying to find? Like a big, what's the word for like a label that's like a bad label put on something? Um,
Um, well, like they're judged.
hmm
Um,
Like they're judged harshly just because someone has a mental illness.
oh, I see.
Stigma.
Yeah, they're stigmatized, right? Yeah.
hmm It's a huge stigma on like depression or any mental illness. I have a cousin that is on the autism spectrum, and he is probably the most loving person I've ever met in my entire life. I mean, he can't really speak English, but he'll give you hugs like constantly. He'll give you hugs and stuff, and like he'll like show you like signs of affection. But like the one time when I was little, we were trying to play hide and seek. Me and my one cousin came up, and he took his sock off and put it in his mouth. Because they're not. It's like but the kid's fucking a genius. He can do like a huge puzzle in like matters of like 10 minutes. Like it's ridiculous.
Isn't that incredible? It's like a superpower.
Yeah, almost.
It's like kind of like all the other parts of their body like don't really know how to function, but like one section just is this hyper focus that yeah, it's nuts.
It's
And
it's
that
incredible.
and that he's so in that it sounds to me like he makes a difference in your life because when he's with you, he's so present with you.
Uh huh. Yeah.
I feel like that's what people are kind of missing these days, right? Is kind of like just people that are present with them, people that are just can be with them and listen, right? Do you have any siblings?
I have step siblings.
How do
My
you get
one,
along with them?
my step brother, my one step brother is transgender. Transgender, excuse me.
You're good.
And my other three are all going for careers. Excuse me.
Hmm.
It's the T. Um, my one step brother. He's actually going to be a lawyer right now. He's studying in college. My one stepsister, she is going to college. I mean, going to veterinarian school, and she's in Colorado right now. And my other stepsister, she is actually. I mean, she works at Walgreens, but she has an art degree. So,
Wow. Yeah, I mean
like, she's very good at art, but I guess she just rather work at Walgreens.
it's hard, like I'm an actor by trade and it's hard to continue. I mean, like to be able to become financially independent off of your art is like really it's really hard
Yeah.
because society doesn't really kind of value that as much, and people are like, oh, like why don't you get a real job, and that doesn't
Well,
help.
I really support her once though.
Yeah.
I support her. I mean, I've done art before. I mean, I have a Wacom art pad that I draw on my computer once in a while when I'm bored. And well, really, a lot of people go to college for one degree and they never pursue it afterwards. Like liberal arts degrees, I mean, cool. They might be good to learn on the side, but you're never going to make a living off of it.
Yeah, it's interesting, right? Because like I think that I've heard this the theory that like I mean you're 18 years old, you're getting out of high school, you've never been in the real world with like freedom.
Mhm.
Of course you're not gonna fucking know what you're gonna want to be. Like the standard that we have set for kids who are 18 to know exactly what you want to be right out of school is an absurd expectation.
I mean,
And
look at me. I'm a high school dropout. And I went and got my GED, and I went. I actually have my wallet somewhere else, but
it's
I actually
fun.
have both my plumbing and my HVAC certification. And I'm pursuing a different. I'm only 19. I'm pursuing a completely different career now. I'm going to either physical therapy or computer engineering in college. So I
Hmm.
mean, I worked in the plumbing field for about a year, and I'm done with it.
Well, and you know what, that's what we need to value more in society is like, look, go out, try something. Don't You shouldn't have the expectation that you're gonna do that your whole life. You should just go and try, see what you like about it, see what you don't, and then just adjust. Just adjust, like later on, and if parents or family or other kind of pressures say like, oh no, you should know. I mean, no, it's
That's
just it's
wrong.
it's unrealistic, is what it is. It's also unempathetic. It's completely divorced of any kind of understanding of human emotion and human experience.
Yeah, my mother went to high school for something completely different than what she is doing right now. She does medical billing, and she went to high school. I forgot the exact thing, but she went for a completely different thing.
No.
So, I
Huh.
mean, and she's still supporting a. She was a single mother, still supporting her kid. I mean, she barely made any money, but she would still give me what I wanted.
Yeah.
I mean, not all the time. I mean, when money's short, she'd be like, I can't do it this week. Maybe wait till Friday when I get paid. And I'm like, okay.
Could you explain, like, I've heard of borderline personality, but like what is that? Could you explain what that is?
You want me to just? I can look up the definition right now.
Okay. Well, I guess I'm kind of interested in your perspective of it, or your thought of it.
It's a
Your view.
conjunction of a lot of different mental illnesses like depression, body dysmorphia, body dysmorphias. I think body dysmorphia is for transgender. Never mind. Basically, but like depression, anxiety, bipolar disorder. I can tell you the exact things right here. Oh, what's all the things? Where are all the different?
Yeah, I guess I'm wondering, just like I think anyone could go and read it, right? But like for you, what has been your
Oh, what you
experience?
want? Oh,
You know what I mean?
um, I mean, it's hard. It's definitely not an easy thing to do, like to me to deal with. I find it like depression's always like been something that's really hit me hard, and anxiety. But the only reason I developed these symptoms is because of bullying inside of school. So
Hmm.
that's what I believe, at least. I don't believe it's something you just hereditary or something. Because my mom has no mental illnesses whatsoever, except for maybe mild anxiety. But like through high school and like middle school, I was always called a. I was a heavier set kid. I mean, I still am. I'm 6'3" now, so it's like not. I'm
Wow.
not as fat as I used to be.
That tall, yeah.
Yeah, and I was always called like a fat ass, ugly. I mean, people just call me terrible things. Like people will tell me to kill myself. I mean, it's ridiculous to be honest.
Why do you think people did that?
Um, Plenty of reasons. Some people might be a coping mechanism for some people. Some maybe they have a mental illness they don't know about. Maybe it's something happening at home. Maybe they just don't feel good about themselves, so they want to put it out on others.
Yeah, that's my belief too. That's like if someone is being hurt, if someone is being abused or feels alone, then and they when you're younger, you don't know how to handle these emotions, so and no one talks to you about it really. Like that's what education should be about, is like emotional learning emotional intelligence and how to like deal with your feelings. That should be like grade 1. you know um yeah, but then they go and they lash out, and then that just spreads hatred
Negative.
and distrust. Yeah, negativity. Yeah, and
I try to
then
be as positive as I can. I don't. I think hateful people just shouldn't belong in this world. To be honest, because we have people like a lot of people are set in their old ways. Like a lot of elderly people are still into like racism and like misogyny and they're transphobic and all that. Like the LGBT plus community is like quite hated by people like that. I myself, I'm pansexual, so I mean, I haven't been called any names because I wasn't very open about it inside of high school or anything because I most definitely would have had like 10 times as worse bullying, and because the people that have these old views, they pass it on to their kids, and then their kids after that, and their kids after that, and it's just going to keep on going unless we change something.
mm, yeah,
Like
yeah.
I will never push any of my agendas on my kids. I'll push them in the right direction, but I won't push my agenda on them.
I think what you were talking about, like people, like hatred filled people shouldn't be in this world, and uh, I I I don't. My perspective is that I don't think that anyone is inherently
Yeah,
hateful. It's just the kind of like worlds that we're born into,
fair enough.
where either you get a hand dealt to you that you're more likely to become hateful, or you're not, and then unfortunately to get out of it you have to take responsibility for your own actions, and you know and and figure that out. But I think also it's our jobs as people who are. I can tell that you're a loving guy, and even when I like just met you, you're very warm, and that's how we were able to do this interview. It's like, oh, this guy's a warm person, and
Thank you.
it's like, that it's our job, it's our responsibility as caring people to try to perpetuate love and not hatred. And yeah, I mean that's hard, right? Like, how do you do that? It's not just like a hippie, like, oh, love. And I mean, like, it's like if you see a guy catcalling a girl, to go up to that guy and just say, hey man, not cool. It's, I mean, but who does that? Who does that? Not many people. And it's tough.
I have a experience with that actually because well, ever since elementary school I've always like dealt with kind of bullies and stuff. I mean, I always just took it as like whatever, they're bullying me. I mean, it did hurt, but I just kind of shut it inside, didn't want anybody showing. But this one kid at my lunch table, his name was Trevor, and I actually walked up behind the guy, and you know how you do an arm, like a where you put your arm behind their and put their head behind their head, and until an administrator came by, and I stopped the kid from like because this kid was like really getting like they were like punching this kid, like pushing his head into the lunch table and stuff, and like I mean, I was like, I saw that, I'm like, no, I'm like, this is not happening on my watch. I mean, on the first
Yeah.
day of once I got into first grade, I didn't have any friends, so I went to a lunch table myself, and then one of the administrators at school actually had a kid that was in fifth grade, and she's like, "Would you like to sit with my son today?" And I'm like, "Sure." I'm like, "It's very nice of you, but thank you."
Well,
So I sat with this fifth grade, and I had a discussion with him the entire lunch.
and you were in first grade.
I was in first grade, yeah.
Dude, see? Look, and that was when you were like 6, and like 13 years later you remember that moment. You remember that moment of kindness, right?
Yeah.
I mean, I mean, we could like people can have like why don't we?
Lasting
Yeah,
effect. I can't remember anything else from my childhood really but that one
yeah,
moment.
yeah.
I mean, I can remember in like first grade, like the first month of first grade, I was like, I got red card every day because like I would get bullied and I would like fight back and I would get in trouble for it. But other than that, I didn't really have any bad experiences, and other than bullying and stuff, you know.
I mean, this like ideally you'd want like in a first grade class, right? If there was a bully who just kind of like I'm in when I was like in first or second grade, I was called a faggot a lot. Um,
Same here.
you know, yeah, because more creative people, expressive people, vulnerable people tend to be called that, and so I was like called faggot. And wouldn't it have been something if half the class would have been like, "Yo, not cool, not cool." Like that's all that would have really been required to kind of socially get those people to realize what they were doing. Like maybe that's the way to kind of end bullying is like this
Yeah,
social pressure of being a good person, you know?
there's another thing that I actually have from elementary school because I cherish it because there's this black woman or black girl I mean named Jasmine that I met in early elementary school, and I'm a Scorpio. I was born
Me
November
too.
15th.
Yeah, I'm November 8th.
Really,
Yeah,
but
awesome.
she gave me a necklace with a resin necklace with a scorpion inside of it. I still have it in my drawer.
Wow.
And actually, I had a act of kindness recently. July 4th, I was my parents left me home until like about 12 o'clock at night, so I was all alone. I mean, I don't really have many friends in real life. I talk to everybody online, and they left me home. And so like 12 o'clock at night, I'm like, all right, I'm just gonna go for a walk. Since I mean, so I walked up to the local rural farms, and there's this elderly man that kept on going to this rural farms randomly. Like, why does this guy keep on going to this rural farms? Excuse me. And he came out and this like he bought like a little like igloo like rolling cooler in
Hmm.
and then walked out. I'm like, what's happening? The lady came out. She's like, empty out whatever you have in your bag. So I'm like, I was like probably 5 feet, 6 feet away, and he's like, what do I need to do that? And then she's like, you're stealing. Don't ever come back to my store. And he started calling her like a whore and a slut and like all these rude things. And I walked up and I'm like, hey dude, you better get out of here before you have a problem with me.
Good man.
I mean,
Good
she's
man.
like a little petite lady, and I'm like a 6'3" guy that walked over, and
Yeah.
he looked at me, he was like, "Oh, okay." He was like, "Oh," and she's like, "If you don't leave, I'm gonna call the cops." But like before she said that, I went over and tried to tell him to leave, and then she's like, "I'm gonna call the cops if you don't leave." And I was like, "All right."
Yeah, that's something too, right? Like being men, we have we're lucky that, we people don't like catcall us out on the street or like, like, at least they don't to me.
Yeah,
But
that's a-
yeah, right. Yeah. But like with women, that's like a normal
it
thing,
shouldn't be
like
normal.
every day. No, it's not. It shouldn't be normal.
It's
You're right.
legit sexual harassment.
And that's just like the world we live in. So little by little, we just need to,
Push it out.
yeah, we just have to confront it. And,
Another subject with that though is false rape accusations. How do you feel about that? I feel
oh,
terribly about that.
oh, good question. That's a great question. I tend to, I tend to think that that people, I tend to think that people who claim that they have been raped or have accused someone of rape the large majority of time wouldn't do that unless they actually were. That's my belief.
Well,
So
I
I'm not
thought
saying 100%. I'm not saying 100%, but I think that, and this is something that I'm still developing my opinion on. But I think that and I don't know enough. I
Mhm.
should read more on it. Um, but it's better to err on the side of believing the person who has possibly been assaulted and raped rather than to just be like, nah. You know what I mean?
Yeah, well, my thought on false rape accusations is that whatever sense the man should have had, I feel like the woman should have had, or vice versa. If the man says the woman raped him, which people don't believe is a thing, but it's absolutely a thing.
It is a thing. It is a.
Actually, told me a story about this woman. She put LSD or some type of psychoactive drug inside of his drink when he came over her house, and she raped him afterwards. So there's definitely men that can be raped. It's most definitely a thing that can happen.
Yeah, I mean,
False rape accusations, I believe that whoever is being accused of rape, whatever sentence they should have, the person that did the false accusation should have.
by sense you mean like that they should both be. I guess I don't know what you mean by sense.
Well, like a false accusation. Let's say if I accused this woman of raping me, and I lied the entire time, and there's evidence that proves that I'm lying, then I feel like I should be incarcerated the same amount or the same judgment that she would have had.
Oh, interesting.
Because you can ruin
That
people's careers, their life. You can ruin everything from that one false accusation.
interesting. Wow. Okay. Yeah. This. Yeah. You're talking about something that I've not even have ever thought of before. I think that's. I think that would be fair.
I mean, I want fair. I want to be fair for everybody. I don't think anybody should get special treatment.
I think that's. I think that's. I think that would be fair. But what's so interesting is you're kind of like you're thinking about like if the person was proven wrong, but that's tough, right? Because like, what if? I mean, because it's very difficult to prove if someone was raped or not, right? So what if it's inconclusive? Usually, like, you know what I mean? Like,
That's a hard one to get into. But I'm like, if they have factual evidence that this person did not rape this person,
yeah, then I agree with that. Yeah, I would agree with that. But I think in the majority of cases, it's like very hard. It's like very. It's not black or white. You
yeah,
know these.
it's a very large gray area.
Yeah, very large and I yeah, I guess I tend to steer away from those kinds of hypotheticals because like a lot of it is really circumstantial. But I do think that men can be raped and it's not an issue of men or women. It's like who has power in the situation,
Hmm.
and it's a power dynamic thing, which is the same thing with Black Lives Matter. It's the same thing with Me Too, right? Like Me Too movement is not about just women. It's about people who have power over another person.
Hmm.
So when people are like, "Oh, this is great for the women's movement," and this is just a woman's, that's not true. It's if men can be raped, then it's a power dynamic thing. It's not a men men are evil thing. You know what I mean? That's my long winded thought of it.
See, what I believe about Black Lives Matter movement, completely support what they stand for. But the way that some of these groups are going about it is completely wrong.
Could you explain?
Well, like Antifa, that I mean, like there was a I was talking to my grandmother today about this, and she saw a video of this man that was like an old black veteran. And he was carrying an American flag around. He just wanted to go talk to people and see what their opinions were, just like you. Which I appreciate what you're trying to do, and I appreciate your name because I like the name Building Bridges.
Thanks.
Very nice. But they did that, and then this Antifa person came up, and they're like getting face to face, and these two bystanders came by and like kind of pushed them away and like go away. And the elderly man walked towards like his house, and the person got on the phone, and the man believed that they're trying to tell him their address and stuff because they started following the man.
Mm.
So I'm like, I mean, like he's just trying to come see what everybody's opinions are and all that because I'm sure I love everybody's opinions.
Yeah.
I mean, I appreciate talking to anybody, to be honest, especially about maybe political things that are happening today or just religious things. Because I know way too much about mythologies and religion.
Well, people, what I've been talking about on here is that people have been listening to respond, especially on social media, not listening to understand. We need to listen to understand more
Yeah.
and not be concerned about what our next response is going to be. Like, let's just try to understand where
Mhm.
the other's coming from. Um, with Black Lives Matter, oh, go for it. I'm sorry.
Just okay. It's like people try to say that both the Liberal Party and the Republican Party are both stuck in their ways, or like they try to say the other one's stuck in their ways, and the other one tries to say that. Let's say the Liberals saying they're stuck in their ways, and the Republicans saying the Liberals are stuck in their ways. I think everybody's just so like they can't learn to listen to people, and that's a big thing that needs to happen in this world right now because the divide against liberals and Republicans, they're both very radical groups, and I've seen both very bad things happen from both sides.
I think what's radical about both sides, at least when you look, is how how stubborn they are.
That's what I'm
Like,
saying.
yeah,
More radical because they're so stuck in their ways, more
yeah,
stubborn, and they
like
just
I think,
anybody.
yeah, I think what you're actually, I'm kind of like coming to a realization here is that, like, what makes a person like radical, uh, what makes a person corrupt is when they're stuck in their ways and they won't listen.
Mm-hmm.
Like, that's um now, if you go to my channel, at the top banner there is a whole, so the thing that I've been asking is kind of like something that you're bringing up, which is, how do we get politicians in there that actually listen to people, right? Because if those politicians listen, then they'll come to us, and there'll be laws that are passed that are actually popular by the American public. And there's a video on there which is corruption in America, what it is, and how we can fix it. And so, if I were you, or anyone watching, check out that video, because it gets at, you know, how do we get out those stubborn Democrats and Republicans and get people in who actually fucking care about us.
Yeah.
I get really mad about this. Like, it's the thing that has actually caused me to come to do this
Oh,
channel.
I understand. Yeah, this the whole political system right now is fucked. It's like I want to say it's just the candidates really, but in a whole, just the political system, it could definitely work if people listen.
Like, what are your thoughts on voting? Do you think you're going to
I
vote in
don't
this?
know.
What do you think? What are your perspectives?
Well, a lot of people think that you should vote because your one vote could matter, but I won't vote because I don't like any of the Republican or Democratic parties or any other parties that are out there. I don't have a political standing whatsoever. I listen to both. I would listen to both sides, and I choose whichever one I think is better. But I don't think any of them are good this time. I don't
So
like
what do you
Biden
think you'll
or
do?
Trump. I'm just not going to vote. I mean, if we just all stop voting, I mean, what's going to happen? The world just going to shut down?
This is the reason that people don't vote, is because people don't think that anything will actually get done, right?
Hmm. Yeah.
There's so many people like you that believe in that same thing.
And
A lot of people.
a lot of elderly people. Let's say baby boomers. I won't call them elderly, but older than I am.
Yeah,
I'm only
they're getting there. Yeah, the baby boomers are getting there.
well. They think that you should always vote because this, that, and the other, and they're just like they always think you should vote no matter what. Vote whoever you think's the best. It's like I don't want to vote whoever I think is the best. I want to vote for who I want to vote for because I feel like they're actually going to do something about it, about the problems in our world.
I think a lot of people believe that, agree with that. I think, I am a political junkie. And I do think that everyone should vote. Now, the thing is that, like, I don't think that everyone should vote for the major two parties. What if the people who didn't vote, so like 50% of people voted in, it was like 55% voted in 2016 for Trump. Let's say that 20% more people voted, and they voted for the third party candidates.
Mhm.
Like, what if the Green Party got like 10% of the national vote? Like, things would fucking change. Like, people would be like, why are the third parties getting 10%, getting like 30 million votes?
Yeah, I'm actually classified as independent.
Yeah. So my uh, thing would be my opinion would be I would say to go and I would say go and vote, but do your research on the other parties, even though they may not get a ton of votes.
Mhm.
Like that vote counts, and it's your voice, and your voice matters. When you don't vote, what you're kind of implicitly saying is that your voice doesn't matter,
Mhm.
and I think your voice matters, and I
So
think
does everyone else's.
yeah, exactly, exactly, and we need to you know make people aware that their voices matter, that a vote is a voice and their voice matters. So I would say go and vote. If you don't like those two, check out the Green Party, check out the Libertarian Party, check out.
The thing about being independent, you don't get to do the final voting.
What do you mean?
Um, you get to vote in the candidates and all that, but I'm pretty sure you're not allowed to actually vote for the last two runner-ups.
You
At least that's what I was told by someone that's a political junkie.
so as an independent, you're not able, depending on the
That's what I
state.
was told. I haven't really
Yeah,
studied into voting because it
I know.
wasn't something I was super into in the first place.
I know a little about this. As an independent, it depends on what state you're in, but you're not able to vote as an independent if for a Republican or a Democrat in the primaries. So like you weren't, I don't
Yeah,
know.
the primaries, I'm not
Yeah,
allowed to.
yeah, like you weren't probably able to vote for Bernie Sanders or for Elizabeth Warren or for Biden, right? But when it comes to the general election in November, you're able to vote for anyone.
Oh, really?
Yeah, yeah, you're able to vote for anyone. So yeah, let people know about that. Um, I'm glad that we're talking. I'm glad that you brought that up because you know that's one more vote that is being heard. Maybe, possibly, or not. If not, that's your choice too. I mean, you know what I mean?
Yeah. Um, what else do you want to hear about? Want to hear about religion?
Yeah, let's hear it.
I believe the three main religions are, um, well, especially Christianity, because Christianity has way too much power in this world. And actually, back in like the 18, I don't think it was 1800s. I don't remember. My history might be a little off. But they were actually, for you to be able to go to heaven and your sins to be erased away, they had to pay a amount of money to be able to have that happen instead of just like talking to a priest or somebody. They're also one of the largest and most powerful bodies in the entire world now. So the Catholic and Christian Church.
Yeah.
So I mean, I don't think a religion should have that much power over people.
Mm, mm.
I don't follow any of the three main religions, so
So
I
what
don't
are
really.
what are the three main religions in your eyes?
Uh,
Christianity.
Christianity, Judaism, and Islam,
Okay.
the three largest religions. Christianity, I think, just passed. I think Islam was the number one for a long time. I think Christianity is now number one. And then like people try to fight me with talking about slavery, about how African American people were enslaved, and I'm like, well, the first people that were ever enslaved were blacks, and that was by other Africans because they were lords and kings there that enslaved their own people.
Yeah, I think like Egypt, maybe Sumeria. I don't know.
Egypt was very bad. I mean, the pyramids were made by Egyptian slaves and all that. I'm part Native American, so my people were enslaved. They enslaved a lot of people down in South America once the conquistadors came over. And basic religion, like I said, Christianity and stuff, has really been one of the main reasons why people like have gone to war and stuff. Like Christianity, the Crusades, like there's a big bloody war that happened over religion.
Yeah,
Fight
it's
over Jerusalem alone, just ridiculous.
so for you. Like, what is it about? So specifically, what is it about religions that keep you from like becoming religious, and what would have to change for you to be interested in like going to a church, or do you
Well,
consider?
I'm very religious. I'm just
Oh,
not. I'm just not a part of any of the three main religions.
Could you talk about what you mean by being religious?
I am actually Wiccan, which means I am a witch. So I basically follow like deities and other stuff like that. I mean, if you ever want to read a book, here's a decent book that can give you insight about it. It's from Juliet Diaz about witchery. Embrace the Witch Within.
Okay, witchery. What is the author's name?
Juliet Diaz, and like the first couple ones is what is magic, the power of thing, and like Q&A for new witches, art of self love, connecting with your inner witch, like basically like there's a bunch of different things about it. Not every witch is the same. There's a bunch of different paths you can take. There's like I'm an eclectic, which basically means that I don't follow any specific path. I can do whatever I want. There's some people that follow just Norse gods. There's people that follow Egyptian gods, Greek gods. Like someone I know, they follow the Greek god of Hell. Hell. I mean, that's his name. So
Hades, right?
yeah, Hades.
So,
So
what is it about Wiccan that
calls
calls to you exactly?
He's just so open and so loving, and I mean, our main belief, the main belief over all of Wicca is do harm to none and no harm will come to you. We believe in karma greatly. So let's say I go and let's say go fight this person for no absolute reason. It's going to come back to me one day. That won't happen. It might not happen this year or a couple hundred years or something. Well, I'll be dead in a couple hundred years. I mean, let's say the next 10, 20 years, it won't happen. It could happen when I'm like 45. It could happen.
Wow, so a lot of karma. Yeah, what are some other things that about Wicca that other people may not know that there may be kind of like a stigma towards that you would kind of like to
But when you're
dispel?
saying you're a witch, witch has been burned ever since like early times. So they obviously think that you're evil for nothing because, like I'm wearing a necklace right now. It has the pentagram on it. It's
Mm.
not an evil symbol unless you're a Satanist, which is another religion which is not based on paganism and Wiccan, which I'm kind of a mixture of both. I'm not a Satanist. I don't. I never will be.
Mm.
Because that works. Because it's basically we call it white magic and black magic, or like bright and dark magic. But dark magic's like Satanism and like voodoo and stuff, and light or white magic might be like um basically what it really is a belief. Because like let's say I go take a shower today, I could believe that all my negative energy is coming through. There's do you believe in past lives?
Um, I I don't know. I don't know.
Well, I do 100%, and a lot of people that I'm actually talking to right now on my Discord, they don't hear any of this right now unless they're actually watching the video. But they sent me a link to an author about this book. I forgot his name, but basically you will meditate for about 30 minutes or about 20 minutes or something like that, and you will have like I couldn't breathe at all yesterday. I couldn't breathe for some reason. And I laid down, I meditated, and I listened to the video. And the one thing he says, believe there's a bright white light or whatever color you want on top of you, and believe that it's coming through your body and healing all of your organs and stuff. And I could breathe afterwards. So, I mean, if that tells you something,
It helps you find peace.
it's a very peaceful religion. Yeah.
Wow, that's great. You're the first Wiccan on the channel, man. That's awesome.
Wiccan and paganism is actually very. I'm also a geek when it comes to a lot of religions. You can ask me a lot about Egyptian mythology, Greek mythology, Norse mythology is one of my favorites. I'm actually researching Shinto right now, which is the Japanese belief, one of the Japanese beliefs. Other than Buddhism, Buddhism is the other very large one.
Yeah, I'm a big fan of Buddhism and Taoism. Actually, on my roof right now is the Yin and Yang.
Yin and Yang, okay.
Yeah, so I'm very into going with things and not labeling and not judging and
I guess you
that's
could say Wicca is about kind of closely related to that because we don't want to. We have people from any like different bunch of different backgrounds, so we don't judge anybody. Or I mean, I can't say for everybody, but people that I know that are also into Wicca or paganism are not they're not judgmental.
I would consider myself Unitarian Universalist as well, which is a non-Christian church that is all about the interconnectedness of all living things. Um, you know, and
It was almost like animalism or animism. I think it's called.
animism. Yeah, I don't know what animism is.
It's basically believing that everything has a soul.
Yeah, that's
So let's say anything made by nature. I don't believe that.
like
The
skyscrapers.
BB gun I have right here has a soul. I don't believe that. I don't believe it's going to shoot me because it's a gun. I believe if I shoot myself with it, I'm going to hurt myself.
Mhm.
But one sec. I have crystals and stuff I need to show you.
Okay. Very cool.
I also have a bunch of books. Give me a second.
Okay. Awesome, dude.
It's my grandmother's chest that's been passed down to me. Like this is a book about crystals and different energies that they give off, and that they can heal you. Different healing energies. Herbal remedies. Just an easy study for any herbal things. Like they shows you how to make like herbal remedies, like teas and ointments, and ailments and
Yeah,
stuff.
that makes sense, right? That you're a tea fan.
There's also a thing about aromatherapy and essential oils. I'm not one of those people that think that vaccinations don't work because aromatherapy and essential oils can work, because that's not a true thing. At least not my belief.
Mm-hmm.
Because, I mean, vaccines have been proven to be working, so.
Mm-hmm.
I also have some things about when I was a Christian here. Like, I have a rosary that my grandmother came made out of hematite.
Mm-hmm.
This is called a Book of Shadows or a grimoire. I'm not going to show you inside because it's very personal to a witch.
Sure.
I mean, some might be more open to it, but I'm very personal about it. A different spell. This is a spell book. Here's a lava stone necklace that I can put like essential oils and stuff into it, and it'll like just diffuse naturally over time.
Wow.
Also, it's healing properties since it's lava stone.
Huh.
Here's my bag of rocks. I talk to people. But
I have a moss agate stone around here somewhere that I use to find balance.
Oh, nice. I have a geode.
Ooh.
Also had a you know what the karmas are, right? Different karmas for the different parts of your body.
Oh yeah, the chakras.
Yeah, chakras. My bad. I had a bracelet, but it broke. So.
Oh, that's great. That's nice. I do chakra meditations every day.
Oh, really? Nice.
Yeah.
Oh no. This is a little piece of amethyst that you can't really see because it's unpolished whatsoever. I believe this is moonstone.
Oh, that's a cool one, huh? Yeah.
I have, I believe this is tiger's eye.
Oh, those are so cool.
I have just a normal thing of lava stone. Basically, it's a very porous rock. What do you call it? Another piece of amethyst.
That one looks like a jelly bean.
I think this is rose quartz, I believe, or clear quartz. No, this is rose quartz. This is speckled obsidian.
Wow, dude, you know all of these, huh?
Yeah, it's normal obsidian. This is yellow quartz, I believe. Maybe I might be completely wrong. I think there's also yellow quartz, except that it might be a little darker in shade and more cloudy. This is bloodstone, which a lot of them they'll get like red marks through it and stuff, which looks really pretty. This is clear quartz, and this is another thing of pink quartz.
Wow. Kyle, would you be able to put like afterwards, like put all of those book titles and authors like in an email to
Oh
me,
yeah.
and then I could put them in the description.
Oh yeah, most definitely.
That's awesome.
Um,
I think I'm actually yeah. Do you so I oh what is this? Oh, the incense. Yeah, I think I'm gonna get going, but I before we go, I mean we've had such just a nice conversation. Do you have any kind of thoughts, any final words that you'd like to leave the audience with before going?
um, you seem like a very wonderful person, and I greatly appreciate what you're trying to do on YouTube because I also have a YouTube channel, but I'm not uploading or anything right now. But I do gaming videos and stuff like that. It's nothing serious like this. But I appreciate what you're doing, and you seem like a very nice person and a nice person to talk to. And you're obviously educated about what you're talking about, so it's nice to talk to someone that's educated. Because my beliefs is someone that's what I've noticed about people is that the people that are most uneducated about a subject like to push their agendas the most, and that's what I believe in because that's what I've experienced.
Hmm.
And you don't seem to want to push your agenda whatsoever. So,
Dude, that's really kind. Thank you.
no
Yeah,
problem.
I think I think that's interesting what you're saying because we look at the kind of the agendas that are being pushed in our culture these days, and
Oh,
they're the loudest voices. But
hmm
what you're saying is, and I agree with you, is that the loudest voices tend to be the most uneducated. You know, so why
especially
don't
on the subject that they're trying to speak about.
hmm right? So yeah. Well, thanks, Kyle. Yeah, that was great.
Oh,
And
do you want me to give you a outro?
what is that?
You want me to give you like a like, comment, and subscribe?
Yeah, go for it.
All right. Like, comment, subscribe for more great content like this. Also, hit the bell notification so you get the notifications because YouTube does not work for some reason. Also, like the video.
Thanks,
That's a
man.
plus. No problem.
Awesome. And if you want to have a thumbnail for the video, just shoot over a picture to the email as well.
I really don't have anything. You can just use my face or anything.
Awesome. That sounds perfect.
All right.
Okay, man, dude, it was a
Yeah,
blast.
I'll give you the different books and authors and stuff on your email.
Cool. All right, yeah, and then I'll put that in the description.
Yeah, it was very
All
nice
right,
speaking to
dude.
you.
Yeah, have a good night. All right, go Baltimore.
Thank you.
See you, dude. Bye.
See you.
Such a cool dude. The first weekend. Wow. Is this recording? I really hope that this is recording. Okay, good.